Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020 Career Mode, episode number 44. We're at the Baloise, Belgium tour. It is one of our last sponsor objectives of the season, or at least until the period that it doesn't matter anymore. And we have Monotoglu here at 4 seconds off the pace. It's a short prologue, and unless you're fantastic at the discipline, it's going to be difficult to score well on this stage, but the objective is to have success at one of the stages. So if we're lucky, there's not going to be too many top sprinters here, because for the most part I've brought a sprint team to this race. So Kevin Vermark will give us a chance on the final stage, which is a punchy one, but just the profile of the stage or of the race as a whole kind of dictates that you've got to go for the sprint. Now, my best shot is the man who's up right now, William Barta, strong prologuer. He's a 78 today with a +1. Is that going to be enough? Mike Tunison has a 2-second advantage right now, which is pretty significant. Nobody else has been able to match that. He's already 4 seconds behind at that first check, but a lot of people going out too strong and finishing without energy, so we'll see if Barta can have a stronger finish here than most and turn that into something so technical. And these turns, especially on time trials, are always so wonky. Everyone's kind of locked into the exact same result through there, which is keeping the times super close together. 3 seconds off the pace. That's still 16th. And also 5th. We're going to need a +5 from somebody if we're going to have any shot at doing something. Alves Machado and Vermark, the only two left to go. .71 for Alves Machado. That's not going to be enough. He was 6 seconds down already at the first checkpoint. And finishes 6 seconds down. Tunison seemed to have gained all of his time in the first sector, because we've consistently been holding. So he set off really well. Campenarts goes same time, and right now is favored ahead for Mark with a +3. That's good enough for a 71. This could help him for the overall contention, as in he might be in contention, especially with an 80 hill. If he were to, say, win the final stage, could possibly win the race. 6 seconds down again, though. So we got Barta at 4 seconds. Everybody else 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Very compact, the field. Sprinters can still absolutely win this thing if they can hang on. Wow, Van Aert is here. Van Aert has got to be the favorite for the overall now. Already takes the best time in the prologue. Capable as a sprinter. Could certainly gain a few seconds at some point over the next 3 stages, and then the final stage probably going to be the favorite there. With a gap that moments ago was over 3 minutes, it was starting to look slightly iffy on whether we'd be able to pull back a breakaway of 5, that 3 of those riders joined in quite late. Therefore it would be a little more fresh. But now that it's back to 2 minutes and we still have 50k to go, it looks like the pace in the Peleton is just much too much. I think kind of everybody showed up with sprint teams for this and are preparing themselves. Now, the good thing for me is that it's not like the Giro, where we had all of the most elite sprinters in the world. Here, we're faced with a situation where there's only 3 elite sprinters. That's still a lot, because on any given day, somebody's going to have a bad day. They're going to be out of place. They're going to have a bad race day condition. They'll be fatigued, they'll crash, they'll puncture, something, right? But it's not going to be all three. You can count on one hand how many times out of 100 all three would have a bad day. So that's bad news. We're always facing at least one who's going to steal that win away regardless because they are just too fast. Competing for fourth, possible. Competing for GC, possible. We only have one punchy stage for Mark. If he's good on that last stage, quite punchy, might be able to get us that stage there. So here, we're going to grab seconds if we can. We're going to get a top 3 at some point if we can, just to steal a few seconds. That's the strategy. That's the tactic that we're going to go for. Let's go ahead and use Barta's gel here, and we're going to go shortly. Go for a sink down to about 11. There we go. We still haven't cut the brake, but they're definitely not far away now. Manitoglu back healthy and a +2 today. That's given him a 77-76, pushing that stamina resistance up near 70. It's still not good enough, but it's definitely giving us a shot at least a decent result. A lot of negatives today outside of Vermark, so that certainly doesn't help us. And Vermark, I'm not going to waste him. I'm going to protect him for the overall, meaning we're going to do this as a 6-man thing, and we're going to just kind of bring Vermark along. Let's not start so bold here. Barton.
10 kilometers to the finish line.
So this didn't hurt us, but he has escaped into space, and let's slow that down even more because your teammates have not made it through the pack yet. Alright, now they have. Now we can accelerate. Already down to 8K, so Bartha, let's accelerate it a bit harder here. And let's start gelling up on these guys.
The pack is back on level terms.
Alright, there you go. We've caught the break, and we're going to get a little advantage here, potentially over the field. It's kind of nice catching the break a little later like that. Little cheese on the back of the group, but we have that clear advantage at the moment. And as we go down to 4K, alright, so we're down to 3 lead-out riders. It's still a little too early to go, just a little. So Granigan, you're on. Here comes the faster teams coming back at me. Alright, now we go before this technical turn.
And there goes the mad burst for the final.
Alright, there we go. Granigan accelerates out 1.8, and we've got 3 guys. This is good, but look at those guys just fly past us there. Some of them going too early, 700 meters, and I'm actually down to my last 2 guys here. Toglu. I think Alves Machado might have a better chance at a top 3, but it looks like he's going to be 4th, I think. Oh, he got 3rd. He got 3rd. He got seconds. Sam Bennett for the win. Ackerman 2nd. Alves Machado grabs 3rd. Halverson 4th. Gobin Manitoglu 6th. Kind of got caught out there. Didn't have the space. And we were a little fresher than I expected, meaning we could have gone just a little bit sooner. That was that technical finish. I really need to go back to something I used to do a long time ago, and that was always checking the map and always seeing how a race finishes out. If you haven't figured this out by now, corners in this game, it is so hard. This is not Formula 1 or Gran Turismo or something along those lines where you can really use the whole width of the track. This game treats everything like a straight, and corners are somewhat broken. Okay, the distance or the time that takes a rider entering the corner to exiting the corner will be the same for every single rider, regardless of their line. Meaning you can be on that tightest, you could be on the apex of the corner, or you can take the corner at its widest point. Regardless of which one you take, enter and exit, you will have the same gap over everybody else that you had. Okay, that's not something that they have figured out, and it's been like this for many, many years. A lot of people don't realize that that is the case. It is the case, though. Watch close on a handful of curves, and you'll see that everyone, the outside is always sped up, the inside is always slowed down, and they will always emerge out the same. So, track position, really important because nothing's really happening on those corners. And if you're in and out of a few technical corners back to back to back, everyone's kind of idle through that chunk. They're not using their sprint, their energy is retained a little bit longer, their position is retained a little bit longer, and I've won a lot of stages just by having my riders at the front through a technical finish, and then just being able to hold off the chargers because their charge comes a lot later than it would normally. Alves Machado moves up to 9th place with the 4 seconds that he picked up there. I'm going to need a little bit more than that, though. Using a baseball metaphor, assuming we're in batting practice, I thought the pitcher was supposed to throw nothing but fastballs. You know, fast, straight, right down the middle. But then the pitcher decided they were going to throw me a curveball. And caught me off guard. When I prepared for this race, I was not aware that this third stage was also a cobbled stage and not simply a classic with back-to-back cobbled sections like that. I mean, there's already a big group of riders that were dropped here. 108 kilometers to go. We have 3 sections of that nature to go. It actually might even be the same section. Let's find out if it is, because then that would prepare me for what is to come. And yes, it is. Okay, so we are looping this circuit. 3 short climbs, and then we have this cobbled section. It looks like there's actually a double this time around. We're coming at it from a different way, but already onto it. And then the finish line is not that far off from there. So we've made our way through that first wave of climbs. We're going to need to speed up a little bit and make sure we're holding near the front before we go into this cobbled section. And let's bring it down. It's early enough, and with a 3.5 minute break, I think we're going to be okay this time around. I would expect the acceleration to catch the break is going to happen after we go through this time. But I did not bring any of my cobbled specialists to this race. I just didn't know we were going to face this threat. So I get all the guys through that time. And Peloton's down to 89. If it stays like that, if it holds, if they don't regain contact, that's a good thing for us because I've got my full team still. You can see at 79, a couple other guys are blinking, so we're going to have to bring that up a notch. 82, they're still blinking a little, so pace has really picked up. It's 2:20 to the break. Brakes got a small chance today. It's only 44k to go. I need water one last time. That's going to be Bart's job. Shoot, Peloton back together. That hurts a little bit on that go back, get water thing. He's done it in a reasonable amount of time, though. Can he finish the job of getting everybody their water, though, before we enter? There we go. Alright, coming up on our 3 short, punchy climbs.
They really are moving. The pack can't get strung out too far, or it's going to start breaking up.
It's checked there a little bit. German has been checked a bit. Alright, here's the first one. Short punchy. We're through it. It's still 240 to the break. Their gap has grown. They're attacking the climbs. The front two riders are attacking the climbs. Hopefully this exhausts them, though. They're going for the KOM. So if we're lucky, they won't have anything left after these 3 climbs. You can see we're already bringing 3 guys back here.
This climb features some dreadful percentages.
Wow, it looks like we've sat up. I'm certainly not willing to give up on that, because that's the whole race. Those guys, there's no way that those front 2 riders are that far down. It's possible, but I don't want to give up our chances today. So it's 20k to go, but we're going to have to start pushing now. We save for Mark for the overall. Martoglu is again going to lead the sprint. Alves Machado. German looking pretty weak today. Let's put Granigan behind him, not in front of him. No. There you go. Alright, we're going to gel up, and we're going to hold about an 88 here. Let's see what an 88 does, Barta. Alright, Bora, Daniel Oss decides he's going to do some work, so that's good. I think he's attacking, because he's left the front. He has. These guys are trying to attack, but they can't, because Barta is chasing a little hard. So we've already cut it down to 228. And like I said, with only 2 riders at the front and attacking 3 KOMs, their pace is going to be a bit slow. So we're down to 15k. We've got 2 cobbled sections to go. I'm already comfortably now to the front, so we're going to try to accelerate before to make sure we're still out front, and then we'll sit up slightly in the cobbled section just to survive it. Okay, so 1.5k, 4 stars, and we're about to enter. Okay, we go to 88.
It's always best to be in the lead when going into cobbled sections. Breaks in the Peleton can happen at any moment.
German's sucking here.
The pack's deficit is being cut back. A couple of teams have set themselves
because
up
we
as
got cut off.
for the pack. They obviously don't have anybody in the
And German's on a -4, so he's got no standard resistance. Okay, into that second section. German, Granigan.
The rider has just suffered a puncture.
Get through here. There you go. Let's get German out of this.
A rider is flat on the
Granigan,
road.
you're going to start chasing now.
Apparently, there's another puncture. The riders really should pay more attention to their choice of tires.
Alright, so we've made it through, -1 man. Barta is done. He's still at the front. We'll set him to a 99. At least Orion's going to stay fresh. Granigan, meanwhile, is going to use up whatever he's got to get up there, and then I'll have Alves Machado to jump in line behind Orion. 7k to go. Orion, go ahead and gel up, and then we're nearly there. Okay, Orion, we're going to get you moving here.
The riders are entering the last 5 kilometers of the stage.
No. We're not. We are going to do something sneaky here. Granigan, give me your acceleration. Pull Orion, there you go. And try to pull us through this crowd. Orion gets through, okay. I don't think the others got through, and no, they did not. Alves Machado, come on, dude. It's 4k to go. And we're still 48 seconds behind, by the way. Come on, Alves Machado. You gotta go. You got to get up there. Gel. Alright. Lion, you gotta just go. It's 3k, man. We're in trouble. Sam Bennett's already third wheel. Anybody else make it through? Liz Machado, you gotta sprint now. Okay, Lion, 700 meters. He's our sprinter for the day. Breakaway is gonna keep the win, by the way. One man survives by mere seconds.
And there goes the mad burst for the final sprint.
He gets there first. Jacobs just ahead of Sam Bennett.
One over on the others in the group.
Cornelissen cockeyed, and we never made it through the crowd. The cobble section destroyed me. I tried to get out front, but by the time we reached the cobbled section, we were definitely not out front. A couple riders were, the rest caught. And we needed to be going fast enough to have the whole team out front, and that was just not the case. Barto was not quite quick enough. I was not quite quick enough. I backed off when we hit it to try to survive it. Apparently it was the wrong tactic, but if I would have kept up mid-90s pace, I would have had no riders left by the end of it, so I was kind of screwed. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Stage 4, this is the punchy one. Stage 5 is another sprint stage, and things are getting challenging. The road got skinny, pace is picked up. We've got a breakaway with a pretty sizable lead at this point. Field is already starting to split, but with the bulk of it on the back side, like a Manitoba, you got to figure most of the riders will regain contact here. One little climb, and we see a split. So we have 26 riders now in what is, at least currently, considered a break, but there you go. There's it coming back together. 130 riders chasing 6. The lead is down to 2 minutes. I was starting to get worried for a little bit that they'd get away. They had almost 5 minutes, but it's 84 kilometers, plenty of climbing, and a hard charging peloton is going to be impossible for them to keep at bay. For me, the impossible thing is going to be trying to hang on and not lose all my riders because, well, look, we're slow. Barta has this nasty race day condition today, -3. It's supposed to be my second best climber on the team, and now he and Alves Machado just got ditched because he can't climb by himself. So 106 riders in the peloton. Those guys are not coming back. They are 4.5 minutes behind already. Just 1/3 of the race left to run. Half a kilometer. They lost 4 minutes. So the lead over the pack is yeah, they're done. 68K, and gotta keep an eye on the rest of these guys. That was pace. That was not energy. Barta still had energy. He just couldn't keep enough pace. So we gotta make sure we don't go too low. But again, you go too high, and you don't drift back on the climbs. With guys of this level, of this amount of resistance, stamina, we'll have nobody left by the end. So it's a difficult one to keep track on. I would recommend playing slower than I'm playing now, but my challenge with that is, the cinematic part. If we play too slow, a lot of people would get bored. I know some of you certainly would have the patience and would like to see me take it slow and gradual and be cautious and do everything I can to earn the win, but at some point you gotta just keep things moving along. So 54K, that was probably our best chance to get water. Unfortunately, it did not take that. Again, that whole cinematic approach thing of trying to keep things moving along, and stuff happens. Alright, well, Granigan nearly toast here. Jamont is nearly toast. Let's go and use his gel. We're down to 3 guys once those 2 fade.
There's a faller
and we're down to 3 off the front. So Jamont, he's fading. Keep an eye on him as he goes out the back. I'd like to see this split. Oh, it was about to split. It does split. Okay, we're down to 41 at the front. Is that one of my guys that I... Okay. Saw that yellow, and I was worried that it was going to be us. You're going to gel up. Orion is going to get the water here with this last little punchy one, but he'll get water here pretty quick. I want to keep him in the group for right now. Wait till we get over the top of this short hill before he attacks too hard. Okay, you're okay. Get that water. Get that water. Come on. Finish it off.
Watch out! A team leader is falling behind.
Okay. Monotoglu has recovered a little bit, so we're going to put him on the protection assignment. Breakaway is done. We had 38 riders there for a moment, but it's yo-yoed back together again. In fact, another group regains contact here. Just picked up a few KOM points there. Not even trying. Okay, so 65 riders. German has regained contact. Oh, we're going to get... Sorry, dude. There you go. Two climbs to go plus the finish. Mostly downhill through here. If we can keep the other riders at bay, that's 65 to duke it out. Don't like my chances too much with just one rider. Vermark on a 0. It is a 78 on the hill, though. He can get a decent position. Should be near the front. But as for grabbing a win, yeah, I don't know about that. There's a few too many strong riders. And we don't have a good lead out. Hawaiian, he's a 70 on the hill today, but just a 64 mountain. Both of these guys going backwards. We're seeing a big acceleration here. Get a 90, come on. There you go. Alright, they lifted. Shane nearly does not lift. Okay. Seeing an attack.
By
Okay, set these two to auto. Remark. Following a lion. Monotoglu.
The pack is increasing its work rate. Some teams can't be happy with the breakaway. Only a few riders
Nice
are capable of
flat,
following the very fast
mostly
pace
flat
up front.
anyway. Plateau at the top here. That's not going to hurt us too much, but a Monotoglu is done. So on to Hawaiian.
A courageous rider is
5 riders away. Just 22 riders giving chase now. And Hawaiian keeping him fresh through here. So 25 chasing 1 now as we pull it back. So this is good. This is good. We did not panic. And so far, so good on that. 15K to go. Nice little downhill section coming. And then a little flat section. Let's go ahead and sit in the group for right now. 19 riders left. Fatigue starting to do what it does to a lot of these riders. This is a really long stage today, by the way. 78 downhill. This is a really good time for Hawaiian to bring us out front and maybe leave somebody behind and not hurt him in any way. We'll sit up again at the bottom. I'm not going to keep going on the flat. He's tolerable on the flat, but he's not going to get away.
Left.
But it gets me out front. Now we hold position. Oh, 54 riders. That's not good. 8K to go. Hawaiian, Gel. Mark's still looking good. A lot of these riders are not going to be looking this good. And we do have that prime position, but Hawaiian's not going to last too long. Here we go. We're starting to go uphill now. And then we're going to take this right-hander, and it's really going to start to go uphill. And it's still 6 kilometers to go. So Hawaiian's going to lead us over the top here.
Only 5 kilometers left.
Okay, Mark. Need to respond to this. Just gentle for now. Gentle for now. There you go. Alright. Now we prepare final climb. We're sitting 5th wheel overall. We are just a little behind these guys, but it's 3K to go. Can't go too hard. So I'm seeing this big attack, and that's just too much, way too early. Alright, 1.7. Not much uphill here. Let's tuck in behind. Nope. Follow Tunison. Follow Tunison. Come on, Vermark. There you go. 1K to go. Tunison's done. Tunison is done. This is a chance. Oh my goodness. It's not a chance. Oh, come on, Vermark. Come on, Vermark. Oh, I went too late. Gosh, those guys just...
Really powerful sprint finish to claim a great victory.
I recognized Tunison's weakness and was like, oh, gosh, he's tired. and then all of a sudden 10 riders in 30 meters just whoo, there they go. For Mark had enough energy to go at the same time that they did.
Bringing up their rear have made it through
Just
sheer willpower.
no sight of them. I mean, it looked like you had a bunch of Mike Tunisons there, and then all of a sudden Sam Bennett of all people, and Van Aert and Ackerman. I wasn't going to beat those guys. I look at that top 7. For Mark came in right behind him in 9th, but that top 7, that's big time riders. Fuglsang, Kukelaar further down, Van Gessel further down. I mean, there's some De Wolf, some good names further down that list in kind of the Vermark region. But yeah, that top group, a little too strong. But I think we could have finished a little higher if the camera would have shown me all those guys and shown their sudden acceleration and not had me, respond a second later. Thanks to Vermark's relatively poor prologue ability, the small group finish that we had, it wasn't that small of a group. And because of that poor prologue, well, Vermark only finds himself in 14th place. Now, the 27 seconds is deceiving. That's Sam Bennett winning multiple stages. But he's just a handful of seconds, 5 seconds or so away from about 4th or 5th place. But again, those few seconds separate him and all those guys in front of him. And he's got no chance of gaining back time. So GC, not good. Winning a stage, yeah, that's not going so well for us either. And it's not looking good today with the elite sprinters around us. One good thing, Alves Machado, 77.80 today. Could it be done? Could we finally get him a chance to win a stage? He's looking really good. We'll see if we can actually get him out in the open and make something happen. We have 14K to go, but the breakaway is still 30 seconds on us, so this is not over yet. Pace is pretty hot though. We're chasing hard. Amana Toglu was not keeping up a moment ago at an 85, so there's that.
Another attack. This time it could go all the way.
Here we go. Alves Machado, the guy today. Monotoglu to lead him out. Zeros for him, unfortunately, but at least it's zeros and not a negative. For Mark, we'll still protect. You know what? We don't need to protect his time. Screw it. Alves Machado. Oh man, that just screwed up the whole thing. Go here. There you go. That takes care of that. Here's Barta. We're seeing a big acceleration here, so we're actually going to have to come out pretty hard, and he's on the wrong side of the road. Let's get him out in the open.
10 kilometers to the finish line.
10K to go.
Some riders are being left behind.
8.5K to go, Barta. Speed it up. You got everybody behind you. Let's start putting that pressure on. Pedal to the metal, as they say in auto racing. 6K to go. Everyone's gel. Alright for Mark. Barta.
Only 5 kilometers left.
To the back. For Mark 73, doing a little bit of damage behind him, but we're already down to 3.9K. And we haven't hurt the guys that do matter. Barta going to sit up, and that does open a little gap, except for one long line on the right hand side. What happened? 2.4K. Okay, let's go.
And there goes the mad burst for the final sprint.
Okay, we're not in a bad spot here.
The escapees have survived.
We're not in a bad spot here. For once, we have a chance to win a sprint. 500 meters from Alves Machado is all we need. We have got to watch out for the hard charging. Cockard is going to be the main challenger. Ackerman looks like he might have sat up. Stannard's going to be a little challenge, but here we go. Here we go. We got it. We got it. We got the right lead out, and finally we get in front of everyone. We have enough to stay in front of everyone, and we had one of our two top sprinters on a strong race day condition who could turn enough pace, accelerate fast enough to actually beat everyone. Kort Nielsen ends up second. Monotoglu hangs on for third himself. Halverson, Stannard. The main contenders were well off. Ackerman had sat up. Cockard ends up sitting up. And the others aren't around. I don't know what happened to the bulk of the peloton. Was there a crash? What happened? But whatever it was, we were out front. We stayed out front. And the only contention we had was one long line of everyone charging. Slipstream, yes. But for the most part, they are all attacking there. And it finally works out. So we end the Baloise Belgium tour with our required stage victory. What a huge feat, especially for such a weak sprint team. We finally claim a victory against some of the best. That felt good. Felt real good. Sam Bennett wins the overall. Van Aert second. Kort Nielsen, Ackerman, Campenaerts, Cockard. It's amazing those guys finished that high. And Vermark moves up one spot to 13th. You can see that. 2 seconds away from 6th. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Next time, we've got the National Championships and then the Tour de France. Plus the Österreichische Rundfahrt. The last two objectives. Almost to July, but those nationals, the natties, coming up. Be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. And bye for now.